So I usually make videos on anime figures in an illustrative format, but today's video will be purely about the drawings that I've done recently with little mention of anime figures. If you're more interested in my anime figure content, don't worry, the next video will still be on more anime figures, but this video, however, will just be me showing my sketchbook for my completed Inktober challenge for this year. So if that doesn't interest you, I'll see you next video. But if it does interest you, then you're in the right place. I've made a video similar to this 2 years ago, and similar to back then, I did not follow the traditional Inktober prompt list. Rather, I still followed the Cutegirltober list, created by the artist Ocean Space, where you draw a cute girl for each day of the month. Unlike 2 years ago, there was no participation award this time for completing the challenge, so it was really all on me to complete everything in a timely manner. The added challenge that I personally gave to myself was to draw not just a cute girl for each day's prompt, but to draw specifically a shoujo manga girl for each day. For context, shoujo manga just refers to manga, or Japanese comics, made for a female demographic. I already know someone's gonna ask, no, shoujo manga does not strictly mean romance manga. Shoujo manga just means manga made for girls in mind. The genre can be anything including romance, slice of life, drama, but also action, adventure, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, you name it, shoujo's got it. There's also josei manga, or manga with adult women as the target demographic. And so for every day of October, I followed along with the Cutegirltober challenge, drawing a different shoujo or josei character whom I thought fit that day's prompt. So, let's take a look. So this is the sketchbook that I used for my Cutegirltober challenge this year, and you can see the sticker that I got from completing 2022's challenge on the cover. Since I used this sketchbook for other things other than Inktober, let's just skip right to the drawings that we're actually interested in. You can see right away that I've organized each page to have 2 drawings per page, and I drew on the front and back sides of each page. I've also included the character names and the series that they're from next to each day's drawings, just in case you're curious. Starting off with day 1 Coquette, we have Uka from Honey Lemon Soda, which is getting an anime adaptation next month actually. I consider this one more of like a baseline for the starting quality for my Inktober challenge, because I can definitely point out areas I did well, like her overall outfit and the fact that I did a full body, but I can also point out areas of improvement like her legs. This just helped me gauge where my skills were at the beginning of the month, and how I could adjust moving forward. Next to her is day 2 Punk, which I drew Nana. Since I have her anime figure, I decided to just draw that outfit since I could just use that anime figure for easy reference. I also added some values to this one, which I think really added a lot to this drawing. Beyond restricting myself to drawing only shoujosei characters, I also limited myself to drawing characters from a series only once. So, if I already drew Nana, then that means I couldn't draw Hachi for another day. So, there are 31 unique shoujosei series being represented in my sketchbook. I also tried to limit myself to characters from series that I've actually watched or read. The only exception to this is day 3 Cheerleader, where I drew Amu from Shugo Chara. I've barely watched even the first episode of the series, but she suited the day's prompt well, and I like how she turned out. I will note that I had a bit of a tendency to draw characters looking taller or older than they actually are. For example, Amu is only 10 or 12, but I unintentionally drew her looking more like a teenager. For day 4 Scene XD, I thought it'd be kinda cute if Mikako had styled Risa to make her into a scene kid, and while I think the idea is still nice, the execution was a bit shoddy. But I'm still glad that I gave it a shot and drew 2 characters for the day's challenge, and that I used some color. Again, the earlier days were more for me to gauge my starting abilities and to just try things out. For day 5 City Pop, I drew Sana from It Takes More Than a Pretty Face to Fall in Love, a really long title, I know. I am really happy with how she turned out, and I'm glad that I added this text here to make it feel more graphic designy and like an album cover. As an aside, I posted all 31 of my drawings from this Cutegirltober challenge on my Instagram and Twitter, and the latter half on Blue Sky as well, and for Sana, the mangaka Anzai Karin actually liked my art on Twitter. I was really happy to see that, and it really motivated me more with this challenge. Next to her, we have day 6 Vegetables, and I drew Najika from Kitchen Princess with some carrot cake. A bit of a stretch, I know, but here she is. With this next page, I started drawing the girls on each page in matching poses or following some kind of shared theme. So here, Anise and Chihaya look almost like they're standing back to back. Fun fact about Anise, she's the main character from Cipher, which you may know for its OVA having one of the most absurd English scripts ever.
Yeah. So, what do you want to eat? Yogurt. Top it with vanilla ice cream, raisins, Okay. I bought some peanut butter too.
Yeah, she's from that series. And Chihaya is, of course, one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite series ever, Chihayafuru. I unfortunately only drew 2 josei characters, Chihaya being the first of them, and both are from Beloved magazine. I unfortunately still haven't read much josei still, so there just isn't much of it in here. But the prompt was yukata, and I always associate traditional Japanese clothing with Chihayafuru. The next page, I have Mihane from Spring Storm Monster and Buling from Tokyo Mew Mew in these sort of matching leg up poses. So Spring Storm and Monster is a very interesting manga, to say the least, but Mihane is one of the side characters whom I love and fits the bill perfectly for Juraikei. My only issue is that I accidentally drew her looking so tall, like she's got that Jang Won-young build, but she's actually really petite in the manga. And then Buling next to her was my childhood favorite from Tokyo Mew Mew, and I also thought that she fit the bill perfectly for kidcore. This next page is one that I'm really proud of, the Arina Tanemura page. Arina Tanemura is super iconic, so I'm glad that I got to draw a couple of her characters. While I don't think that this drawing of I.O.N, or I.O.N, however you say it, while I don't think it really reads as being Fruitiger Arrow, I still like how she turned out. And of course, I drew Mitsuki for Day 12 Idol. I think Mitsuki often gets depicted as cute and cheerful, and she is, but I really wanted to capture her more angsty demeanor in the later parts of the manga. Arina Tanemura's style is very detailed, so I tried to incorporate more detail in the girl's hair and into Mitsuki's outfit and wings. Next up is yet another mangaka-specific page, the Clamp page. It's been so long since I've properly drawn Sakura, so I was really happy to draw her again, although I will admit that I've never liked her clown/jester adjacent outfits, and I don't love how symmetrical the pose is, and I think I could have pushed the perspective on her hands more, but I drew Sakura again, and that's what really matters. And next to her is my girl Hokuto from Tokyo Babylon. She wears this outfit on the back of the Tokyo Babylon art book, and it definitely felt very stewardess inspired, so here she is. I drew her skirt a bit too short, but it's okay, I guess. So this next page is what I like to call the girlfriends page, although Sawako and Kurumi are not technically girlfriends, and neither are Aya and Mitsuki yet, for that matter. However, Sawako and Kurumi are a fairly popular ship, and I also love their relationship, especially in the manga, so here they are for Day 15 Summer. Although I so dearly love wholesome and kind characters like Sawako, I also have a really big soft spot for the more mean girls in anime and manga, like Mary from Kakegurui, which is not a shoujo, Mihane from Spring Storm and Monster, Megumi from Say I Love You, and of course, Kurumi from Kimi ni Todoke. I just love when these types of characters start to come around, or are shown to have really strong ambitions. I just think they're really great. Anyways, I put white lilies in their hair, white lilies of course being a classic Yuri symbol in Japanese media. Next to them, I drew the green Yuri girls for Day 16 Gyaru. Only Aya actually fits the day's prompt, which is why it's featuring Mitsuki instead of and Mitsuki, but I couldn't just draw Aya without her, so here they both are. For Day 17 Minimalism, I drew Yoi from In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. There were some days where I really had to rack my brain for who would fit that day's prompt, like for I.O.N for Fruitiger Arrow, and for this one, but since Yoi definitely has that gender-ambiguous style, I thought that she fit a minimalist style. Also, after drawing Mitsuki the day before, I definitely wanted to continue drawing more androgynous characters. For Day 18, I drew yet another Clamp character, Satsuki from X 1999. Satsuki has a really strong connection with computers in the series, so I thought she fit the prompt Cyber pretty well. The next one, Day 19 Gamer, for which I drew Akane from My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999, is unfortunately one of my least favorite drawings. Again, I think the idea I had wasn't bad, but I was trying to catch up after falling a couple days behind, so I didn't spend much time making it look so good. However, I do really like how I did this one right next to her. Since Red River just recently got reprinted into these new 3-in-1 volumes, I knew I had to draw Yuri. Red River is a classic shoujo manga from the 90s, so it's kind of like an OG isekai manga before the modern isekai boom. I just did a simple portrait of her without much of the rest of her body, but I used an older felt tip brush pen for her hair, and since it was running out of ink, it helped give me this really nice hair texture. And I gave her some more color for her accessories, and I just used some colored micron pens for that. Anyways, go read Red River, it's on the Viz app, it's amazing, and it's a must-read classic historical fantasy series. In contrast with that classical manga series, we have a very recent shoujo manga character, Tampopo for Day 21 Magical Girl. Magical Girl Dandelion is such a new series that it hasn't even gotten its first volume at the time of recording, but it already has so much buzz due to its amazing character designs and compelling action scenes. And it already has an English simulpub on the Viz app, go read that one too. And this drawing is yet another one that the mangaka Mizuho Kaoru interacted with on Twitter. To be fair, the mangaka does quote retweet every fan art, but I'm still really happy that she saw it. After Tampopo is Day 22 Star, so I obviously drew Nina from Nina the Starry Bride, who is the second and final josei character that I drew. Nina, by the way, has an anime adaptation that's probably wrapping up by the time this video comes out, and I happened to post her on the day when a new episode aired, which was very unintentional and serendipitous. And the mangaka Rikachi liked this one on Twitter as well. I didn't really expect to be noticed by so many mangaka, but I'm happy that 3 of them saw my art. So this page turned out to be kind of the Sensei Notice Me page. Moving on to the next page, we have I.O.N from Sugar Apple Fairy Tale for Day 23 Candy. My original plan was to draw her holding one of the confections that she makes in the series, but then I realized that would be a little too complex, so I just gave her a candied apple. This ended up being a pigtails page because right next to her is Day 24 Lolita, for which I drew Otogi from Fall in Love You False Angels. I don't think she really wears Lolita fashion canonically, but there is this official artwork where she wears this outfit and hairstyle, so she fits. And I'm happy that I got to draw her. Her curly twin tails were very fun to draw. Since I did 2 drawings per page, and October has an odd number of days, that meant that there would be 1 day left over on its own page. I decided to dedicate that special privilege to my current favorite characters from my current favorite manga, Utage and Tamon from Tamon's B-side. They get the full page to themselves because I just love them so much. I know that the challenge is called Cutegirltober, but Tamon's B-side gets a pass because it's my favorite series. Day 25 was Yami Kawaii, and because Tamon's B-side has some darker humor, I thought that it kind of fit in a twisted way. Plus, one of my favorite color illustrations from the series has Tamon wearing this sort of Yami Kawaii fashion, so I just went with it. I obviously took Tamon's outfit from that illustration, but I had to design Utage's outfit myself. I kept it simple with just an oversized t-shirt with the same lace-up design to match Tamon's bunny ear hoodie, and just a pleated miniskirt. I would have liked to put some kind of graphic on her t-shirt, but I really didn't want to spend too much time on this than I already had. However, I will probably revisit this one sometime in the future. To point out some more details, they are also wearing matching hairpins and face band-aids, and also you'll see that Tamon's earring is an actual piercing since he's an idol and actually has his ears pierced, but Utage's earrings are the clip-on types. I also made Utage's under eyes darker than usual to imitate the Yami Kawaii makeup style, and Tamon just naturally has dark circles. Anyways, that's enough about this one, but please read Tamon's B-side, and also please watch the anime whenever it airs. I am so insanely excited for it. This definitely will not be the last time that you hear of this series from me. Alright, moving on. We're in the home stretch. Shirayuki from Snow White with the Red Hair for Day 26 Snow. Pretty self-explanatory for why I drew her. These, by the way, are earmuffs. In the manga, the characters wear these really cute elf ear looking ear covers when it gets cold, so I of course had to draw her wearing them. This ended up being the Lala magazine page because next to Shirayuki is Misaki from Maid-sama. There really is no rhyme or reason for drawing her. I can't ever recall her wearing a burlesque outfit in the series or in any official art. I was just scrambling to find a character to draw, so when the idea came to mind to draw Misaki in a burlesque outfit, I just ran with it. This second to last page was probably the most spooky season appropriate set that I drew. Starting with Day 28 Goth, I drew Rin from Fruits Basket. I do realize that because I didn't shade in her outfit, she doesn't really look goth, but she does wear goth fashion canonically. I really enjoy drawing back poses, and I also wanted to include her scar, so I referenced the season 2 ending illustration. This next one I have covered up just in case anyone doesn't like body horror. If you're more squeamish, then feel free to skip to this timestamp, or cover your eyes if you still want to listen in. I'll let you know when it's safe to look again. Tomiya isn't actually a zombie, but I thought that since she is an undead being of some sort, she kind of fits. I ended up having a lot of fun with this one because I didn't have to worry about the cleanliness of the pen work, and I could really push how grotesque or messed up the form is. I would have loved to push further and draw tiny little Tomiya heads sprouting from her body cavity and guts, since that's how she regenerates, but again, I didn't want to spend more time than necessary on this one. In the future, I'd love to explore body horror more, just because it was really fun playing around with anatomy in this way. Okay, Tomie is covered up, it's safe to look at the screen again for the final page, this time with some actual cute girls to round off Cutegirltober. For day 30 Wolf, I drew my final Clamp fan art for the month, Hikaru and Rayearth from Magic Knight Rayearth, which is getting a reboot anime in the near future. I haven't drawn animals in a hot minute, so it was fun getting to draw Rayearth, who is kind of a wolf-like creature. And last but not least, we have day 31 Vampire, and I drew Hina from Otaku Vampire's Love Bite, which is by the mangaka of Kami-sama Kiss. Now, I know I could have drawn Vampire Knight, but when the choice is between an adorable anime-loving vampire and a girl who got with her literal biological brother...
Because this whole time, I've been in love with my brother.
What's wrong with that?
There is no option but to draw Hina. I had also dressed up as Hina for Halloween as my first ever cosplay, so I was determined to match with my final Inktober drawing. I'm really happy that I drew her, and I'm really happy that I dressed up as her, and even though I completed this drawing the day after Halloween, this still marks another completed, successful Inktober. To wrap up this video, I want to reflect a bit on how my approach for Inktober this year was a bit different from 2 years ago. Back then, I had pre-planned a majority of my sketches so that on the day, I only had to finish up the line work with my Micron pens. For this year, however, I only pre-planned which character I wanted to draw for each day, meaning that I completed an entire day's drawing from sketch to final line work each day, plus there were several days when I drew multiple prompts in an effort to catch up on missed days. So with that in mind, I feel like I've improved since 2 years ago, especially with a better understanding of the human figure. Of course, I drew smaller compared to 2 years ago, and I didn't get to explore color as much as I had wanted to, and both were due to my decision to fit 2 drawings per side on both sides of a page. But I do feel more satisfied with my drawings this year, and I feel more comfortable drawing a full body, and even drawing multiple characters in one scene. I did draw small thumbnail sketches in a separate, smaller sketchbook to first figure out the poses, which worked out well for me because I was able to work out the pose in a lower stakes environment before actually drawing in the main sketchbook. I also had more time constraints this year. 2 years ago, I was working and had lots of free time after work to draw, but this year I'm back at school, so while I was doing the Cutegirltober drawings, I was also juggling work for my classes, midterms, hanging out with friends, finishing up my previous video, and trying to maintain a semi-functional sleep schedule. I did find myself wanting to give up halfway, but I was really determined to draw more shoujo characters, and I especially wanted to reach day 25 so that I could draw Tomon's B-side, and I also wanted to make another sketchbook video, and to have an excuse to talk about shoujo manga on my channel, so I really pushed through and completed the challenge. The fact that I really do love and appreciate each of these characters and the series they originate from really helped, as well as the positive reception that I got from posting these throughout the month. I know that this video is quite different from my usual content and that October was 2 months ago now, but I really appreciate if you stuck around this far and watched the whole thing. Like I said, I will still be talking about anime figures in my future videos, but this certainly will not be the last time you hear me mention shoujo manga. It has actually become my whole personality these past couple of years. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!